Hello, everyone. My name is Roopa Sunku, and I'm the Chief Evangelist at Touch a Life Foundation, here bringing you another episode of Career Elevations, an opportunity to meet some successful people and talk about their paths to success and their journeys to success, giving you opportunities to take off of their learnings and their experiences and make it your own. So today I am super excited to introduce you to a very dear friend and an entrepreneur who has stood her worth and stood her ground at every juncture that the industry questioned if a woman can do it. And it's none other than Veena Gundavelli. Welcome, Veena.
Thank you, Roopa. Always a pleasure to come, speak with you and to be on this show. Really honored to be on this show.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and ask you the very first question that I ask almost all my folks coming and joining me on Career Elevations. And the first question is, where are you right now in your journey of success and what are you doing currently?
That's a good question. Journey of success. Right phrase of word, right? So success is always a journey, and every day you dream of, moving ahead and moving, one step towards the goal and the dream that becomes bigger and bigger, right? So it's a good journey. And where am I on that particular one? I am a founder and CEO of a company called Emagia, and Emagia is in the Fintech space. We do autonomous finance systems for accounts receivables and payments for large global companies. And as a company, we are one of the leaders in our space, and we are always coming up with new innovative solutions that can bring, bigger and better advantages to our customers. And where are we on this particular journey? Our journey, again, we are expanding our, customer base and market presence and expanding our product lines. So always exciting to kind of, push the limits and, keep advancing into bigger and better spaces in the market. So that's exciting. And also, I think besides this, one of the key things that I'm involved with is Touch a Life Foundation. And Touch a Life Foundation, focuses around, again, spreading kindness and being in a community with, people who want to, create social impact and do good for the society. So as part of that foundation, I am focused around a program, called TALScouts, which is a youth social entrepreneurship and philanthropy program. And I'm passionate about teaching or, giving the concepts of entrepreneurship and innovation to youth and see how they can use that energy to create social impact. So we are taking this program all around the world, and several high school students in the United States and India and UK and other places are participating in this. And it's exciting to, see how the energy is spreading and how we can take this to many places and get more and more students and young girls and boys involved in this. So all in all, I'm in this exciting phase of this journey of life.
Amazing. You've just got me thinking about so many different questions that come to mind. One, how do you do everything in a span of 24 hours? Being a mom, and I know you from being a mom and a super woman as a mom, running a company, working on Touch a Life, which is the foundation where you drive your passions. How did this all begin, and how do you spend time, and how do you get all of this accomplished, Veena?
Everyone has 24 hours, and I always feel that I wish I had more time. But I think, it's looking at so many good, successful people, great people who have accomplished a lot. There's always some element of inspiration that, you can fit a lot more and see, how you can, do things that are satisfying for you. So I think end of the day, I think if you find things, that give you more happiness and, create more positive energy in you, then you keep going and going. And I think, so that's where I think I feel I've been fortunate, with the kind of work that I'm doing, both at my company, Emagia, as well as with the foundation, Touch a Life Foundation. Both of these are exciting. And of course, blessed with a beautiful family and, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and wonderful kids. So, hey, life has treated me good and things are going in the good direction.
Fantastic. So to kind of ask you a question of where did you begin in terms of your birth, your educational background, and how did you or when did you discover that you had that entrepreneurial spirit in you to start Emagia?
I was born in Hyderabad, India, and born, like most of us, in a typical middle class family. With, my father was an engineer. Was my hero. I always looked up to him, wanted to be just like him, like another engineer, designing big and better things. And so I started out mostly as a math student. Math was my passion, and at that time, there were, not many girls, who used to go in what they used to call as composite math, right? So it's a advanced math. And I was, one of the, I think, 3 girls in a class of probably 60, 70 boys. And then later on went into engineering school, studied, electronics and communications engineering. Again, one of the 5 or 6 girls in a class of, 60, 70 boys. So I think early on, I realized I think math is my passion and engineering is my passion. I like to build things. I like to build products. And that's the passion. And with that passion, I also learned that, maybe because I'm so happy with my passion, I don't mind, being just an odd person or, just one among, many others that looked different. But I think it didn't matter. And that kept going. And I think later on, I, came to United States in 1990, did my master's in computer engineering. And from there led on to, Canon. And I was very fortunate to land into a research and development role at Canon, where we came up with the first color printing technology, for the printers. And at that time, the printer technology, was again coming brand new into the market. And we were the first to come up with color printing technology. And I had the opportunity to work literally right from scratch, where from an idea to building a whole image processing technology, with the colors. And finally, we came up with one of the best color matching, technology. So Canon printers and, Canon color copiers, were, one of the best out of the market. It was a fascinating experience. And I was fortunate to kind of, just again, have that my passion of innovating something from scratch and, seeing that as a product really gave me a lot of energy to do, more and more. And from there, I joined Cisco. And at Cisco, again, Cisco was a fascinating company, built so many market leading products and, became a leader, in networking. And right around that time, there was, again, being in the Silicon Valley, seeing, the kind of innovation that was happening here, it sparked my interest that I can do more and get out of my comfort zone of working for a company and get out and do something more, right? So that's where in the early 2000s, I just got out of Cisco and ventured more into, becoming an entrepreneur. Again, B2B enterprise software at that time with Oracle and with SAP and all of these ERP systems, were, just coming up. Most enterprises were absorbing, some of these large ERP systems. And it was opening up a lot of opportunities around, building, products around these ERP systems. So I saw that opportunity and I said, hey, I think, this is really good. It is a great opportunity to build, new systems around that. And so I ventured into building a finance, what we used to call back then called collaborative finance solutions. So process automation solutions that sit on top of ERPs and, provide efficiency for large companies. And so that's where my journey began. And as an entrepreneur, you got to go take your idea and, make that as a product and, got to go raise money and build a company. And so that was a interesting experience. And again, went to several Sandhill Ventures and Sandhill Venture companies, probably knocked every door and got rejected several times and eventually did raise 3 rounds of venture capital financing and build a company to the good stage. So it was a fantastic experience, just going from a technology side of the business to becoming a business leader, representing the company, being the face of the company, selling in front of the investors to the customers. And so there's a whole journey that, I experienced. And it was interesting to see along the way how, my own personality got evolved from being a, very quiet, introvertish, girl to becoming, social, assertive, networking and, selling your ideas out there boldly. So it was an interesting journey for me to just, see myself there. So from there, again, I think you hear a lot of, stories, success stories of Silicon Valley companies.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think, there are so many unheard stories of crashes and burns, that happen. And one of the stories that of the crash and burn, again, happened to me and to my company. And, again, there was a time where, again, due to various different, situations, the company, almost came, to, crashing down. And it was my turn to kind of, just bring it back, reboot it, turn it around and build it back into, a successful business. It took a lot of, a lot of guts, a lot of strategy and a lot of, perseverance to build it back. And that's something I think when I look back, it is feel, those are some things that actually made me, kind of realize, again, the kind of, grit an entrepreneur, most entrepreneurs have. And that's a journey that I went through. And I'm so proud of, my entire team who, took, the whole company through this journey and, brought it, to become one of the leaders in the space. So very, very, I should say, interesting journey. And I'm thankful for the every experience that I had along the way. And here we are today. Here we are in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant as one of the visionaries in the space. And our product is used by, some of the best Fortune 1000 companies out there. And we are growing. So good and exciting. Can't ask for better.
Fantastic. To just kind of recap the wonderful story that you have shared with us is weaving a few pieces of the puzzle that people should consider. One, I think you came and you drove with passion. You wanted to differentiate yourself from the rest of them, and you wanted to stay above even with all of those differences. Like you talked about being the select few in composite math or in your engineering schools. So you said, I want to be different, yet be able to float and go higher. So that I think is a great thing to reflect on. And the third and the most powerful thing that you shared is your renegade spirit got you building a new company, something that you drove fairly successfully if you knocked on several doors and got yourself some funding after many rejections. That's probably the failure that I talk about. And the second piece is crash and burn, as you stated, of your company being able to resurrect and come back being shown on the Gartner quadrant is an amazing achievement. So you talk about passion, differentiating yourself, and going through failures in life that made you stronger, made you come out feeling achieved, and the journey almost going full circle. So you also talked about your dad being a hero for you in your younger days of being that engineer, the innovator, the builder. Do you still have many other influences in your life that inspire you to keep going and coming out of those crash and burns? What were some of the influences or things that you held on to during this phase of?
So there are a lot of role models, along the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some very close people at home to, people at work, etc. And there are some, that are actually out there, that are very well known, though they may not be, right in front of us. There's a lot of, especially with internet, right? You have access to stories of how people have made it, and I've definitely used a big portion of that to kind of inspire me along the way, right? So a lot of times, and I know this show is about career elevations, right? So career elevation, a big portion of that is, hey, having a role model, a North Star, and, figuring out how you can, kind of, get yourself inspired on that. So again, at various stages, I think there were stages, early on in my entrepreneurial days, with the young children and, running a company, facing the challenges of, hey, how do I spend my time, etc. Mm-hmm. And I definitely, studied quite a bit about people like Indra Nooyi, for example, right? She's a fascinating lady, ran a multi-billion-dollar company, and, again, a very well-grounded mom and a wife, and balance both. And so that, again, great inspiration. And at the time, again, when I had crash and burn and I had to reboot, did a lot of study on Steve Jobs and, what happened, when Steve Jobs, had to get out of Apple and get back, how he built his own brand and got the company back into shape. Those are all good role models. And again, at every stage, you look up to, certain people, how against all odds, they have performed. So I have always gotten inspired by, some of these people. And today, like what Satya Nadella and Shantanu Narayan and some of these guys are, Sundar Pichai, how they're building the companies. And these are all great role models, not very far away from where we are. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating to see how they're able to build, such a humongous, huge companies. And there are always ways that we can learn and get inspired from them.
Fantastic. That is such a beautiful explanation of the different influences that you've had. I think, as the show you rightly called out, is Career Elevations, giving people that inspiration of how did Veena get there? And is it easy to get there, or is it difficult? That is a decision that you make, and you invest into your own career to be able to make that decision. And there's plenty of inspiration around you. Some are more obvious and some are more reachable. And with some of the names that you shared, I think your Indian heritage kind of gave you that affiliation, probably, as well as being here locally in the Bay Area and seeing these or hearing these people and seeing the big buildings that they house and host their product and their employees may definitely have been inspirations and silent influencers for you. So I think the message that I'd like to leave to the audience is that look around you. You can find those inspirations, and look for people within your own family circle. Like Veena talked about her father being her initial inspiration and people successful in that marketplace that you're working with or the careers that you're pursuing. And so that's just been wonderful to hear that from you, Veena. Lastly, I want to just ask you if there's any kind of a message you'd like to leave behind for our audience.
Sure, Roopa. I think in your last session or the show that you had with Orco, I think I passed on one message called the acronym SELF, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is especially for women leaders. And I'd like to reiterate that message. There's an acronym that I go back and refer to. This is SELF. And again, whenever you are in some sort of a paradigm or looking for a career elevation and looking at, hey, what do I do next? So this is where look at these words and maybe just think about what these words may mean for you. So S is for being strong, and as a leader having confidence, having self-esteem. First, to be able to work, with your, physical and mental, strength, right? So, just focus around that, and that's S for strong. E is empathetic. Empathetic, again, when you are, whether you're building products, you're building teams, you're understanding, where you are going, where your company is going, and who your customers are, your employees are, and to be able to align yourself to them obviously creates a lot more pathways for you to reach success. So E is for empathetic. L is limitless. Limitless meaning as an individual we may have certain limitations, our own internal capabilities or a knowledge base, right? So always focus on how can you make yourself limitless, meaning, get yourself, set of advisors or networking with the right people, and acquire the knowledge. Or if you think you have certain limitations, as an example, when I talked about, hey, I'm a mom, should I spend the time here, there, look for role models to see, hey, other people have done that. So eliminate your internal limitations, right? So focus on what is limiting you and make yourself limitless. The last is F. F is focused. Stay focused. When you're strong, you're empathetic, you're limitless, where do you use all of that energy? Go focus it on your target and get yourself to the next stage, right? So this is a small mantra, SELF, but I think, somewhere whenever you look at, hey, I have a little bit of direction or, I want to look internally, go back and look at self and relook at, what is it that you need to retune, whether it is S or E or L of F, retune that and take yourself to the next stage.
Fantastic. That is so beautiful. I've heard this multiple times from you, and it still makes me think about how strong the word self and self-evaluation to get strong and create that limitless boundary of focused activities that you work with empathy. That's fantastic. And in fact, I have something that I'm going to reverse back for you. And I have expanded on your name, Veena, and I call you the vivacious entrepreneur, engaged, creating some newness and being that achiever of fierce ground where you as a woman entrepreneur have come out so successful and stay so humble and to the roots and just go on striving to that success factor. So
wow,
thank you
Roopa,
again.
You're so creative. So beautiful. Thank you.
So I'd like to just thank you so much for joining me today. And I am sure there are many such women who can relate to you and will definitely call you as the next Indra Nui that's influenced their lives. So hoping that lots of you are listening to this amazing woman who has just shared her entire journey with us. To close, I'd like to say we as Touch a Life Foundation are hosting a World Kindness Day which is a free event on the 19th of November at the Santa Clara Convention Center. Please do come and join us and look and understand the entire platform of kindness in terms of multiple exchanges and fitting into our TAL ecosystem. So come and join us. Again, it's a free event with a lot of fun, a lot of thought-provoking speakers that would change your approach and goal you to doing things and paving the path for the future generations to come. So thank you once again, listeners, and we'll be back again with some more wonderful people that we will introduce to you through Career Elevations.